RedNationBlogga back with another video. I got my guy John with me, man. What's going on with you, bro? How the holidays treating you, man?
Holidays were good, man. How are you doing?
Oh man, I'm good. I went out of town, went to Dallas. I don't have people from Dallas except for like one
hmm
cousin on my father's side, but mostly my grandmother. She moved up there, and she's from Illinois, so we had family from Illinois and
Uh,
from Houston move up there. You know what I'm saying? Well, not move, but visit her up there for her birthday.
hmm
So it was cool. It was a nice little vibe, but nothing too crazy, man. But other than that, man, I just wanted to get you on here real quick because I want to talk some Rockets basketball. It's been a while for me. The last time I recorded, I told you, was after the Pacers win. I think Sengun had a triple-double that game. Rockets blew out the Pacers, whatever the case may be. That video just hit 1K, so shout out to my subscribers. Shout out to y'all for watching. Um, but now we in the month of December, which is crazy that the year has gone by this fast. Um, what are your biggest takeaways from the Rockets this season? Because I have some things I want to talk about and I want to discuss.
Biggest takeaways: defense. Um,
Yes.
Despite us not being one of the best or being one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league, I think because of how good our defense has been, as well as our offensive rebound, I definitely think those have been the two main things for us as far as our identity goes. And then as far as players, of course, Sengun's improved defense has been a huge bright spot. At this point, he's looking like both of the Gasol brothers. He's looking like Powell on offense and then looking like Mark on defense. So that's a great improvement for him because usually his archetype is a player usually is not a really strong defender, and usually that is the biggest thing that holds them back for being on that upper echelon of players. So those have definitely been my biggest takeaways from the season. Like I said, Sengun's defense has been a revelation, but the defense as a whole has been a revelation.
Absolutely. I'm just happy that I can tell certain people that I know I told you so. I had a
Mm,
lot of people like making jokes when I said, "Hey, this is a 50-win team." Like I
absolutely.
told them, I said, "Listen, bro, if the team won 41 games last year and Tari missed 60 games, Aben missed 20 games, Sengun missed 18 games, Kevin Porter got kicked off of the team because of an incident that he had with his ex-girlfriend. Like if all of those things happened and the Rockets won 41 games and we're coming into a new season. I had guys telling me, oh, 44 wins, 45 wins. I'm like, if they win 3 or 4 more games with everybody healthy, relatively healthy, it's a disappointment. Blow up. Let's start
Yeah.
a new rebuild. Let's start a new rebuild. Like, we don't need to add a big name in free agency. We also got a number 3 pick that we didn't even deserve, but we got that from Brooklyn Nets. Record wise, obviously Houston wasn't in that mix. Our pick went to OKC.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the Brooklyn Nets pick, we got Reed Shepherd with that pick, and it's like to see this team come to fruition, to see this team be one of the best teams in the not only just in the Western Conference as they're number 2 in the West, but in the NBA. I think they're fourth overall in win percentage. It's like
hmm
it's just good to be a third of the way through the season and almost be ready to say "I told you so" to every single person. You know what I mean? And that's really what it is for me. Just the fact that they didn't add anybody besides Reed
Right.
Shepherd, who barely plays, and look at what they're doing.
I mean, they're doing this also without Cam Whitmore, who was a big,
Yep.
big piece of our bench. I mean, that's 12 points. A somewhat efficient 12 points off the bench in terms of his three-point shooting. I mean, he was, 37, 36% from three last season. I mean,
I
we
did
don't have that at
not to
all
cut
right
you
now.
off, not to cut you off though. Last year, going into the Amen Thompson draft, the Wembyama draft, a lot of
Right.
people that was Rockets fans had Cam Whitmore going in the top 10. Some of them had him going in the top 5. Not
He
saying
was supposed to go
everybody.
fourth.
Yes, some people had him as high as number 5 on their or in top 5 in the draft boards. In the
Right.
Wemby draft that had Scoot Henderson, that had Brandon Miller, Amen Thompson, or is that the wrong draft? No, that's the right draft. That's the current
That's the
draft.
right draft. This
So
is the right
yeah,
draft.
that's the
Yep.
right draft. So some people had him going that high, and this is a guy that you just said is not playing. But keep going. I'm sorry, man. I
Right.
didn't mean to cut you off.
No. You're fine. But yeah, that like we don't have Cam Whitmore. We have Reed Shepherd in his place, who's playing limited minutes, but his you look at the OKC game, he took 5 shots, he only made one. He played 9 minutes. You know, those are not heavy minutes. Steven Adams, we thought that was going to be a huge revelation for us off the bench, taking care of that backup center spot. And he only played 3 minutes last game. You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
God.
Like,
Thank
yeah, and
God.
thank God, thank God, because he's cooked. But Jalen, Jalen is he's up and down. I mean, we really don't even have a true number one guy, and we're looking at a quarter way through the season, and we're a top two seed in the West. I definitely thought that we were going to be a 50-win team, but
Of course, you're a Rockets fan.
right. But did I think we were going to be second seed, and just took down the number one seed Oklahoma City Thunder? Like, nah, I didn't think this is how the season was going
Me
to go. This
neither.
is like best case scenario, if anything. So, yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. It's been great. I mean, Dylan Brooks has even been. He deserves a lot of credit because he's been pretty much lights out all
Absolutely.
season. Been great on
Absolutely.
defense. The 3-point shooting has been there. There's been a few games where he was a little bit off, but you can always live with that because his defense is so strong.
His defense,
Jabari
yeah.
Smith Jr., since we've last talked about him, he has been much better, much improved. He's knocking down more shots. Even you look at last game, one of the big things to me was his rebounding. When he has strong
Yes.
rebounding games, we win. Um,
Yeah.
so even despite the fact that he took 15 shots, he shot 40%, which to me it's okay. It was one of those games
It
where
was
it's
in
going to get
rhythm,
muddy.
and it was in rhythm. I don't mind it. He doesn't force it.
Yeah,
He didn't look
yeah, he
scared.
wasn't
He didn't get
forcing.
benched. He played 40
Exactly,
minutes. He didn't get benched. I like that.
exactly.
You know.
So yeah, this team, I'm excited, man, because like you said, we don't really need to add anybody. We really just need to watch these guys continue to grow and continue to learn how to play with each other. I'm not gonna lie, it honestly reminds me of early Golden State. That's really what it reminds me of. We didn't have the when I say this is early Golden State. They were like when you look at that season when they played the Nuggets, right? Um, in the playoffs, they nobody expected them to turn in what they turned into. But the thing is that their prime skill was something that is translatable, which was 3-point shooting. They had to figure it out with the movement and everything. Now, I think we're going to do it in a different way, and I think we're going to do it on defense because we haven't seen how many teams have these many guys that you can go through, 1 through 9 or almost 1 through 10, and you're pretty much getting strong, athletic wing defenders no matter who's on the floor. Like
That's true.
even if you say, hey, well, you got Jalen, Dylan, Jabari on the floor, right? Jalen is not an amazing defender, right? He's not an amazing defender, but he's at least a plus defender, and having him out there with Dylan and Jabari is going to make him stronger. The way that they can operate as a unit together is what makes them so strong. Fred VanVleet,
Mm.
even Fred, he's a small guard, but he's always been known to be stout defensively. He even with him, like there's nowhere in this lineup where I look at this team and I see a weak defender. I don't see a weak defender 1 through 10. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think our defensive and athletic potential is definitely what's gonna carry us into this new era of Rockets success.
Yeah. I like that. I like that you said. I don't know if I really agree with the Golden State point, but I like it nonetheless because of the success that they've had, obviously. But I don't know. With this team, they're young. The way that they're doing it, they seem to be a little bit ahead of schedule. And you said
Yeah.
earlier, like I didn't expect to be this, but then even if you look at the losses that the Rockets have, I guarantee you'll be like, no, they shouldn't have lost this game. They shouldn't have lost this game. They shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
have lost this game. So if you got 3 or 4 losses, you got 6 total losses, and you got 3 or 4 losses where the Rockets legitimately feel like they should not have lost. This is a 1 seed. You're talking about a
Yeah.
number
Absolutely.
one seed in the West. So
Absolutely.
really, we kind of did expect this. Like a lot of the teams that I had Houston in front of this offseason, you know what I'm saying? I was like, they kind of handled their own. They kind of handled their own last year against Phoenix. They kind of handled their
Right.
own last year against the Lakers. Like they did a good job versus certain teams. Minnesota, they got trampled. OKC, I think they split with OKC, or maybe it was 3-1. I don't remember. But
Yeah.
so when I looked at the progress going into this season, I was like, like they're gonna make that jump. And I thought that, certain players would be better than others and they would build upon that, but they wasn't. And you talk about the 3-point shooting, the Rockets rank right now in the 3-point percentage 26th in the NBA. They 11 30 26 at what 36%, or am I even looking at the right number? Yeah, 36% from three, which is even more respectable than what they started the season. You know what I mean? Like it's
Right.
even actually no, I just lied to you. I apologize to everybody that listen. They're 33% in the NBA. I thought 36. I'm like, how the hell are they 26 and they 36%
Yeah,
from
I
three?
was just
No. They're 35. They're 26 in I guess they're 35.8 in attempts, but 33% from three overall. So you know they're a really bad shooting team. So the fact that they are doing what they are doing is just been great.
right.
The Steven Adams point, man. Listen, bro. I want and got Brad. He just messaged me on Twitter. He said, you know, Landale was hurt earlier in the season, and then he really turned it on when he got healthy. Blah 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 blah. Cool, that's fine. Steven Adams does not need to play. He can't move. When Ime put him in
Yeah.
against OKC yesterday, I said, oh my God, we're going to lose again. Because the first matchup, we played OKC evenly in the first quarter. He put Steven Adams in there, and the game got ugly. They scored like 48 points in the second quarter. The game was over after that. And I was like, he really didn't learn his lesson. But then he pulled him out, and I see it looked, he played 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I swear, I was at the game. It felt like he played 10 minutes. I was counting how long he was in the game. I was like, bro, they're about to blow us out. Like, I knew it was coming.
Right.
And he did it. Lo and behold, he did it. And Jabari's minutes went up because he put him at the backup five. And as soon as he did that, the Rockets, I think, went up like 9 points. You know what I'm saying? Immediately. And I was like, see, you could switch everything. I don't know why Ime, who's a smart defensive coach, continues to put Adams out there with a team that has guys that can dribble 1 through 5, get to the basket, cut, that's athletic, that can shoot. Why are you playing Steven Adams? That's not the guy. Play Jeff Green.
Yeah.
Like, play Jack McVay. Play Jayshawn Tate. Play anybody but Steven Adams versus that matchup. I don't understand it. I literally don't. It made no sense to play him 3 minutes and 30 seconds when you could have played somebody that can actually move their feet and get side to side, man. So that's my biggest gripe with the Steven Adams thing right now.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think this and
I apologize. Stop bringing up the screens, Rockets fans. Rockets broadcast, Rockets media. Stop bringing up the damn screens. I don't care about it. They have not translated to nothing since the preseason. They have not done anything. Stop bringing up the screens and how big of a man he is. I don't care. Okay, I'm sorry, man. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. You're 100% right. The screens, the three screens, good screens that he gives a game. Not all three of them are going to result in points. That's the first thing. The second thing is they're not good enough to warrant him being on the floor and being a defensive liability. I think this is where Raphael Stone has to get some criticism because he essentially locked into a good product. And it could turn out that Steven Adams just needs more time to get all the way back to, being, a competent NBA player from a health standpoint. But right now, it's just not a good fit for what our team is trying to do. And especially when you think about his age, it's a little bit of a head scratcher for me. It's like, okay, we took this risk. And this was my concern with going after Adams. Like, okay, you're taking this risk on this guy who has this, he has a great background in terms of his screening ability, his defense, his rim protection. But you got to think, it's kind of a reason why the Grizzlies were ready to move off of him. And it wasn't strictly because of his injury history. Like, I think that they understood that, Adams is getting to that point in his career where he's just not as effective as he once was. And until they get that kind of corrected, I think putting Jabari at the backup five and allowing him to log those minutes is a great idea. I have no issue with putting Jeff Green there or even really Jock Landale. I mean, I don't really have an issue with putting Jock Landale
Yeah,
there.
like Jock, Jock he pissed me off because he got hung underneath the rim twice in 2 different games this year, and he's 7 feet. That would never happen to me if I was 7 feet. I don't care what nobody says. That would never happen to me ever if I was 7 feet. I would be breaking the goal. Just letting y'all know right now. But I would rather him than Steven Adams. Like for real. Yeah. Honestly, like I would because he can at least shoot the 3. You know what I'm saying? He could, he has a little bit more pop to his game right now. You know what I mean? And I will shoot Steven Adams a little bell. When he was in Minnesota, when he was playing, I think they had the best half-court offense in the NBA. and they had the best offensive rebounding percentage in the NBA when he was with Memphis. I think I said Minnesota when he was with
Yeah,
Memphis.
Memphis.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so when he was with Memphis, and then when he went down, their offense their half court offense
It
went
tanked.
down I
Yeah.
think to 11th or 12th or something like that. It wasn't number
Mm-hmm.
one where they were, and it really hurt them. So he does have some value, I guess, with that
Yeah.
team. And maybe you got to have John Morant. Like maybe you got to have John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. But he had value on that team. So
Right. Yeah. He definitely was great for that team, and I think that's where the Zach Edey pick came in, is because Zach Edey can replicate a lot of the stuff that he can do. If you watch Zach Edey in college, he was very nimble in terms of his movement around the court. He's not slew-footed at all. He's very big, and he has some skill around the basket as well as having some rim protection ability. So I understand that pick. But enough about the Grizzlies. Yeah, Adams. I think there's some bigs that may be on the market coming up on the trade deadline that I would like to take a look at, like a Day'Ron Sharp or I know Nick Claxton that's a big fantasy, but somebody
Brooklyn
like
gonna want 4
Day'Ron.
first-round picks unprotected.
Yeah, and I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. He's
Exactly.
good, but he's not that good. But Day'Ron Sharp is a guy that I think about. There's I know some other athletic bigs that are kind of Robert Williams. I'm be honest, I would even take Robert Williams. I mean,
I would
in
like
limited
Robert
minutes, I think he'd
Williams
be.
for sure.
I think if you put Robert Williams in limited minutes in that spot, I think he could actually be
About
really
18 to
effective doing
22
that.
minutes. 18 to
Man, yeah.
22 minutes with
Hmm.
the Terra Twins. That'll be
Yes.
great. That'll be
Yeah.
great. And you definitely want to keep his. But I don't want to say it, but I think Ime would kind of fall in love and then forget about
Yes.
Sengun, maybe. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yes.
So I don't know, but the money that Sengun making, I think the general manager will be calling him and the owner will be calling him like, "Hey, bro, like what you doing?" You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
he's stuck with guys that he normally wouldn't stick with now that they got extensions. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But let's segue to the Terra Twins because I want to keep it positive
Right.
before I get negative. The last segment is going to be all negativity. I want problems always. Like that is what
Okay.
it's going to be. So
I'm rocking. Let's
no,
do
for real, bro.
it.
But the Terra Twins, man, Ahmed Thompson and Tari Eason, not their best offensive showing last game. Ahmed Thompson,
Hmm.
9 points, Tari Eason, 6 points. Missed a lot of wide open threes. Really pissed me off.
Yeah.
But defensively they brought it. Tari Eason had the game saving defensive play on Shea last game. Locked on Rockets, Jackson Gatlin, he said
Yep.
the closing minutes, Shea was like, bring a screen. And when the guy was coming to set the screen, he realized it was Ahmed Thompson that would have been switched on him.
Yep.
And he was like, no, go away. And he was like, I
Get
just
him
do it
off.
with Tari. Exactly. And so Tari still got to stop. So that was really cool, you know what I'm saying, to see. I saw it like live in person, but to see Jackson see that as well and bring that up, that was really funny.
Yeah.
The Terra Twins have been amazing for this team, man. I think in was that the month of November or was it like for like a stretch? They was averaging as a duo 22 points, 14 rebounds, 4
Yep.
blocks, 3 steals, 4 steals, something crazy like that. Crazy efficiency shooting. What has been your outlook of them as a duo for this Rockets, and what do they mean for the Houston Rockets?
I mean, to put it bluntly, man, I mean, they're really the heart of the team. They are the defensive identity. They, you've seen all throughout this season. Doesn't matter if there's somebody that's not playing all the way well. Hey, he's like, hey, get the Terra Twins out there. Like, we need to get some chaos going. We need to get some offense going. We need to make a statement against this team. So that's why I consider them the heart of the team. Everything that we do on defense is not possible without their presence. Their energy literally takes over games. Like, you have stretches in games where they literally, it's just them like picking up half court, they get a steal, and then they're off to the races. They're, creating easy offense for the rest of the team. So I think that they're, I'm be honest, like I said, if you're talking about making a trade for somebody and these guys are on the table, I'm not pulling the trigger at all. Like, you can pay me enough money unless it's, it had to
It
be
would have to
Jason
come with a
Tatum and
superstar and another like player, you know what I'm
player.
saying, to
Yeah,
kind
literally,
of
literally.
supplement what I'm losing with the dirty work that they do and the intangibles that they bring. Because that's what a lot of people don't realize. They look at the numbers and they say, "Oh, they're not doing it." It's the intangibles, bro.
It's the intangibles, and the other part of it is that they actually, looking at their age, they have upside in terms of what they're going to become down the line. You look at a man could literally he's playing small forward right now. He plays power forward. He plays backup center. But there is a version of him that is playing point guard. You know what I'm saying? There's a
Mm-hmm.
version of him that's able to play in the backcourt and be able to be more of a distributor and show his full range of talents as an offensive player. But right now we're using him like he's Scottie Pippen. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's working. So it's the same thing with Tari. Tari can, you look at him, he could easily add more stuff to his offensive bag and kind of branch his
Mm-hmm.
game out a little bit more and be a better player. He could definitely be, you know, as good as what Mikal Bridges was a couple years
Yeah.
ago for the Suns. He could definitely be that kind of player. So, like I said, I wouldn't trade them looking at their age. I mean, there's no telling what they're going to be by the time they hit age 25, So,
Yeah.
like I said, they're the heart of the team. I wouldn't trade them. I wouldn't move them for anything. They need to keep these guys locked down. Pay them whatever they're asking. Pay them whatever they're asking. That's my
Yeah, for
policy.
sure, man. Like they are probably just as much as Fred, just as much as Sengun, just as much as Dylan Brooks. They're the reason why the Rockets are the number 2 seed in the West. They have literally won the Houston games. They almost won them the Golden State game. Just
Yep.
them by as a duo almost won them 30. I would say they quote unquote single handedly brought us back from down 31. Jabari was instrumental in that too, but they have really been like you said, the heart and soul of this team. And when they had
Right.
that scuffle that they went to the sidelines with on Sunday in the OKC game, everybody was laughing except for Amen Atari. Like they was like YNs. I thought they had it on them and they was gonna air it out, but I was like, nah, I don't know. They have to go through the metal detectors. You know what I'm saying? I thought they was, you know how these YNs do, bro. You know how they
Yeah,
do.
man.
Amen and Tari was not smiling. They was like, don't come
Yeah, they're
over
not
here.
playing no
We
games.
about to start. So like, so how they are, bro. Like that's why I stay away from
Right.
them. You know what I'm saying? But they are, like you said, they the heart and soul of the team, and I love those guys. And it would take a lot for me to even like pull a
Yeah.
trigger on a deal, maybe even consider it. And
Maybe consider it. Yeah.
I want
It
to
would take a lot.
use the Terra Twins to create more chaos and to get negative. Jalen Green, man, Jalen. And see, this is what Jalen Green does that kind of like pisses me off. Like this is really what he does. So the month of November, he averaged 16.6 points per game on 38% shooting. I'm rounding up. 27% from 3 on 7 attempts. 89% from the free throw line, right? That's what he did in the month of November. What would happen to those numbers if I took away that 41-point game that he had on the 30th?
Yeah, I know
What would
those
happen?
numbers. They plummet.
What would
They
happen to
plummet.
the
They get
efficiency?
ugly.
What would happen to the that terrible, horrendous efficiency? What would happen to it if I took away his best game of the season? And it's like
ugly.
that's what people hang on to. That's what people hang on to with Jalen Green, the 41-point games, which are nice. I'm happy that he has those games. I'm a Rockets fan. I want him to be successful in Houston, but I can't deal with this type of a month. 16.6 points per game on 15 shots. On 15 shots, bro. Like,
can I shoot him some bail?
Go ahead. He was sick. Is that what you're gonna say?
I'm 100% gonna say he was sick. I don't know.
He's still sick.
No, he said that the Sixers game was the best he's felt in since Milwaukee. Like Milwaukee was when shit started going left. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to pass too much judgment on him because if you're sick and I wouldn't play while I'm sick, but then again, I'm not an NBA player, but I could see where that could play a part in his performance.
Okay,
so I just want to put that out there. That's all I'm going to say. He was sick.
Before the Milwaukee game, I'm just gonna go down a list. I'm gonna take away the Dallas game. That was
Right.
Halloween. The Dallas game was Halloween. So
Right.
2 for 13 versus Golden State, 5 for 15 versus the Knicks, 6 for 14 versus the Spurs, 5 for 14 versus the Thunder, 6 for 17 versus Detroit, 6 for 15 versus Washington, 7 for 21 versus the Clippers, 4 for 11 versus the Clippers, 6 and 9 for Chicago, which was good, and then you said the Milwaukee game. So he must not have been feeling good for the whole month of November. It wasn't just the Milwaukee game. So that's why I can't shoot him bail because he stunk
I get it.
before the Milwaukee game. Now, if he was doing what he was doing in October before the Milwaukee game, and then he started having stinkers, I'd be like, all right, I could shoot him bail because then that'd be like a 14 game sample size.
Right.
But it wasn't like it's like he gave us
Yeah.
6, 7 good games, and then we're right back to the old Jalen Green. What's wrong? Like, what's wrong with bro? And I don't want to hear sick. What's wrong with bro?
So I think Jalen is in a very he's in a tough situation, and it's kind of what happened last season. So just to lay it out, you have Fred VanVleet, who's his backcourt partner, who is a veteran, who has kind of, and I don't want this to get misconstrued as me trying to say that Fred VanVleet is not a good player for the Rockets or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying here. But what I am trying to illustrate is that I think that sometimes Jalen simply gets lost in the pecking order of the offense, and because we do run kind of like an all lives matter offense, to put it bluntly. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny.
Everybody gets an opportunity for the most part, and I think it's just very hard to try to constantly get him quality reps. Because at one point they were having him shooting all these threes, and then now you see Ime saying they're trying to get him downhill more, which makes perfect sense because when you look at his percentage at the rim, he's shooting a great percentage at the rim, but it was
Minimal
the
attempts.
right. But the issue is that you're putting in all these mid range shots on top of the streaky 3-point shooting, right? So I think he's just in a place where trying to get him on the right track, it's not feasible every game. It's hard to kind of build that momentum up. And for Jalen, he's gonna have to evaluate himself. I think one of the guys on Twitter was saying that the way he shoots, he's not consistent with the way where his thumb is placed at, which impacts his shots. If you look at the game tape, I think he has to look at himself and, okay, we're in November. You're kind of going through the same thing that you went through last year. You're doing the right things outside of the scoring. You're doing the right things outside of, the shot making. You got to dumb it down, simplify it, and try to just capitalize on the simple stuff. And I think the big thing is, yes, keep attacking. Just attack. Get downhill, get to the rim. I think last game with OKC, you seen him. He was getting past Lou Dort. He was getting past Lou Dort. He had a couple good buckets at the rim, but then you seen he wasn't getting the whistle, and then he kind of got discouraged, and then he started kind of looking to defer to the rest of the team, which I understand because I think inside he doesn't want to get a label as being like this shot chucker, right? So I think that kind of plays a part, but like I said, he's got to simplify and try to take advantage. He needs to start moving like he's like, kind of play more like Atari or like a Min. Get downhill, minimize the 3-point shots. We know he can hit the threes when he gets hot, but you gotta go in the game trying to attack the rim, get downhill, get free throws. Don't get discouraged because you get a call, one of the calls get missed, or two of the calls get missed. Like, you got to keep attacking, keep getting downhill, because what you see from him is when he's able to see the ball go in at the hoop, and then he's able to knock down a couple free throws, the 3-point shooting goes up. Then he starts to get a little bit hot from three, and you start to see him really get in the rhythm. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. I mean, there's nothing else really he needs to do, but he has to make the shots at some point. He's got to make
You ever
the shots.
seen that? You ever seen that skit where the dude's on the patio? He like, I ain't trying to hit that, shout it. Like, that's literally everything that you said, bro. You said that. Okay, I've said Jalen Green is a shooting guard. He's not going to give you a lot of assists. His role that he in the perfect world, he's a scorer. That's what he does. That's his game.
Right.
They're trying to give him more mid-range shots. He can't make that. He can't make three. I don't even want to call him a streaky 3-point shooter. He's not a good 3-point shooter. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he's streaky, but if your streak come every 12 games, then you not streaky. You a bad shooter to me.
Yeah.
Then
exactly.
he don't get to the rim. Bro, you say Fred, he gets lost in the pecking order. For me, the reason why he gets lost in the pecking order, the reason why Fred VanVleet goes out and scores 38 points is because Jalen is unreliable. If Jalen Green was a reliable scorer, Fred VanVleet's assists would be up. He would come into the game with a different mentality. The 38-point Fred VanVleet, you would get that once every 15 games. Bro, if we had Zach LaVine, it's not a doubt in my mind that Fred would take more of a back seat, that Dylan would take more of a back seat. If we had a bona fide go-to scorer on the perimeter, those guys would turn more into catch and shoot guys that use more of their energy to do other things like facilitate. Dylan always going to defend, but even give you more on the defensive end. Maybe get on the glass more. Maybe dive for loose balls more. Something. But we don't have that. So now Dylan got to give us 15. Dylan and Fred got to give us 38. Just for us to win by 2 versus a short-handed team that is missing Chet Holmgren and Alex Caruso. So they're missing one of their best perimeter defenders. They're missing their best rim protector, and Jalen still has 9 points. I'm at the game the whole time. I was like, bro, 9 points. Like, dude didn't score in the second half. So I don't know what to do. Like, what?
I mean,
that's my biggest gripe with him.
No, I get it. I totally understand. I 100% understand the criticism because realistically, this team is made for Jalen's skills. Like, it's literally tailored towards Jalen's skills.
Just need one.
Having a man Thompson being his quote unquote Scottie Pippen to you having Alperen there as you know your offensive hub, somebody you can rely on, him being able to play that Jokic, that's a bonus role. Yeah, I mean, I totally understand. I feel like last game, I don't think that he played bad. I think he realized that, I don't have the hot hand right now, and he deferred to other players. Is that a game where he should be more effective in? Yes, he should be. But taking away the expectations for him as a scorer, I don't think that he played a bad game. But I agree, something does have to change. I mean, this is pretty much it. We're in year 4. He's got to get the efficiency up. I don't even mind him being like a 20 to 23, 24 points per game guy. I don't need him to be 25, 30, but the efficiency has to come up. Like there's no other way to put it. And yeah, I get it with the Fred VanVleet thing. I understand why Fred feels like he needs to take over. I think it's just like it's a hard cycle to watch because it seems like when Jalen is ready, it's never the right time, right? It's like it comes out of the blue, and then it's like the next game, it's like
when you need him,
yeah, it goes the other way. It's like a genie. It's a genie that you can't put back in the bottle, right? Because they made the decision to get Fred to help him with his development. They gave him another backcourt player, but because he's not as efficient as he can be, I mean, there's times in the game where I see a man look him off. A man looks him off, and I'm not saying that they're trying to freeze him out. I think that they're just doing that naturally because they're watching.
They can all do their
ups
own
and downs constantly.
Yeah, and they can all do it. They can all do. They all talented in their own right. Yeah,
they're all talented in their own right. So, it's on Jalen to look and say, hey, this team he's got to come out there and exude his confidence. And like I said, it just comes down to the shot making. There's literally the shot making is literally the number one thing that you're asking from him right now. All the other stuff he's been fine with is just the shot making. Even the playmaking, I don't think the playmaking is as bad as a 2.7 assists. Say I watch the games, there's a lot of times where he actually is creating for his teammates. If you look at his potential assists, I'm pretty sure he's top 3 on the team in potential assists still, despite that 2.7. We don't have a strong 3-point shooting team. So
I don't know, bro. I mean, I'm not, again, so I apologize for cutting you off, bro, but 3 assists, 4 turnovers, 2 assists, 5 turnovers, 2 assists, 1 turnover. Like, he always turns. It seems like and then he has some of the dumbest turn. Yesterday, the Rockets had momentum. He comes down the court, he dribbles the ball, he jumps in the air and just throws it right to OKC. I'm like, bro, like, that's why I say he's a shooting guard. Ime is trying to develop, bro. Fred go to the bench, let Jalen run the show. And he gets picked, he gets his pocket picked, or he throws a bad pass, or most of the time he just gets the ball taken from him.
You don't feel like part of that when he's with that second unit is because he's playing with Landale? Because I feel like the part of the problem is that he doesn't get enough. There's just not enough of him and Alp playing 2-man game, and then one of them has to play with the second unit. Like it'll either be, I think Alp played with the second unit last game or a game before, and then then it's Jalen. So I think that's why I say it's a rough conundrum because I just simply think that the team is partially him not making his shots, but I also think that the way the team is set up and the fact that we're an ascending team, we're trying to contend. Like it's unfortunate. It's just unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
understand the criticisms. I just think it's a complicated problem. I think it's a little bit more complex than he just sucks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
I guess so, man. Everything else you said is nice, man, about the playmaking, rebounding, da da da. But bro,
we
we
need some
drafted
shots.
you. We drafted you to be a shot maker. So what good is everything else that you do, which is kind of like, in my opinion, a C plus at best to me.
Yeah,
Except for maybe
I
when
get
he
it.
rebounds, his rebounding can get up to like B-ish range because he's athletic.
Yeah,
He has long arms. He can rebound a little bit. He'll get on the glass. Defense is cool. I'm not mad about his defense. But the biggest discrepancy that you have is what the Rockets need, and two is supposed to be your specialty. So
yeah,
it's like that's my problem, man. But obviously, look, we had 37 minutes, bro. Like I gotta cut it off at some point. But I felt
yeah.
like I owe my subscribers because I haven't done a video in a long, long time. So hey John, thanks you for coming on, bro. As always, dog. Like
Yes,
and
sir.
thank y'all to the subscribers for watching. If you stayed this long, please like and subscribe. Comment below, let y'all know, let me know, let John know what you guys agree with, what y'all guys disagree with, and we out.